Oh boy. All right. This is going to be a fun one because everything about the way that the season ended feels like they want a third season, but everything about how it was done doesn't feel like they want a third season. So let's talk about the final episode of season 2 of One Punch Man. So it starts off kind of strong. Like, we get a lot of Garo getting the crap beat out of him by Bang. And it was actually really cool to see visually. But there's a lot more going on with, like, the character himself. The fact that we get all these flashbacks during the episode of Garo not wanting to play the bad guy so much as he just wants to have a fair fight. And he's kind of very clearly brought up before that every time a hero fights against a villain, it's never a fair fight because you always get the hero getting backed by whoever, whether it be a normal hero or another hero, or in the case of his childhood, friends coming to back up the kid who wants to beat him up. So we get this very clear, like, story, and everything about the story I really like with these episodes. With this season, the story has actually been pretty good, actually really good in some cases, but it's everything surrounding it that just doesn't feel good. I've kind of felt this way for the entire season, and now that this episode has been the conclusion, it just, I feel no different. But overall, with the story itself, we have Bang and his brother facing Garo, and Garo is at the point of dying. We get the flashback. We see, again, more stuff reiterating how human Garo truly is, despite the fact that he wants to be a monster. And that theme, I feel like, is one of two themes that's going to carry over into if there's another season or carry on through the manga, which it has so far, so I don't see why they would change it now. The first thing is that with Garo being the way he is definitely able to take a lot more in terms of physical damage than any other character we've seen so far. Like, Genos has come back from fights, but he's been completely incapacitated before. Garo was on the edge of incapacitation. He almost died, and he was saved at the last minute to continue on fighting. And I feel like that's another theme that we've seen, and it's sort of brought to light a bit more with this, but it's something that we've seen throughout several episodes at this point, where at the very ragged edge of him almost being taken out, he finds a way to escape. We see this when he went to attack Saitama, and Saitama just left him there. We see that when he goes after King, and Saitama takes him out again. We see that when he faces off against Watchdog Man. Watchdog Man probably would have completely killed Garo if he had not managed to escape, which, after having read the manga, it's not made clear in the anime, but the only reason Garo escaped is because Watchdog Man doesn't leave his specific area, his town area, which is why he's so efficient. And this episode brought it to a head with the fact that as things were really, really, really turning south for Garo, we get him being rescued by, I think it was Phoenix Man or whatever the monster that looks like. I think it was a phoenix. I think it was Phoenix Man, but he gets rescued by Phoenix Man to fight another day. And, well, that's the end of that. Like, that's the end of the fight. And now we get Sentichoro fighting up everybody else. Basically, right now it's in the woods, so he's not really posing a threat to anybody except the A heroes who were there and the S heroes who are there now. And this was actually kind of cool, like, animation-wise. I actually did kind of like this, because it seems like they implemented 3D really, really well in this season, and they made it believable enough that we have a significantly better feeling of 3D animation in the show. Like, I've seen 3D animation done in anime that's just not good. Berserk is, of course, the most extreme example, but this feels right because, as I mentioned in the previous review, if you want to check that out up there, I talked about the difference with, like, animating on 2s versus animating on 1s. Animating on 3s is even a thing, and the 2D animation feels like it's been animated on 2s, which works out really well to fit the aesthetic of the show. But we see how strong this massive centipede is, because he played really well towards Metalbat, and Metalbat actually stood a really good shot against him, and at the end of the day, Metalbat lost, and we actually know now that, well, in reality, King is not actually somebody who can pose a threat, but we have the Metal Knight, Tatsumaki, and Blast. And I think Blast was, I don't know who Blast was. I need to go back and see that again. So give me a second. I'm going to go see that again. Oh, actually, we don't even know who Blast is. He's the top hero, but apparently we actually are not even introduced to like who he is. But he apparently did a number on this giant centipede Centauro. So, yeah, that's a mystery for later. Again, something now adding to the. Seems like they want a season 3. It kind of seems like they don't. Not sure which. But all in all, everybody else puts up a really good fight. But there's just no defeating this guy. Like, he is demolishing everything. And they rescue the A heroes who had been incapacitated by Garo. And Genos actually puts up the biggest fight. And he, so Bang and his brother actually put enough damage on this monster that he actually has to molt. And we see that, which is actually kind of cool, the fact that they like put that in as an option for him to regenerate and continue fighting. So that was neat. Genos tries to burn him out from the inside by getting swallowed by him and just blasting him to pieces. But he gets cut in half, which he actually recovered from. He gets his leg bitten off, which he doesn't recover from. And he burns Centauro from the inside, but he closes up. And yeah, so at this point, everything's not looking great. They have to kind of run back towards the city and lure him away. And as they're luring him away, well, Bang wants to essentially sacrifice himself to make sure that everybody else is safe, which turns out he doesn't have to, because here comes King. And King says that he brought Blast to take out Centauro or give him another fight, when in reality he brought Saitama. And yeah, we know how this goes. Centauro shows up, swings down to try to attack. Well, he goes to attack, it seems like King first, and then Saitama hops in the way and blows him away with one punch, which I wish we would have gotten to see a reaction from Phoenix Man, just because of the fact that he was very confident that there were only a few heroes who could stand a chance against him, or against Centauro. And Saitama shows up and just blows him away in one punch. But he was satisfied with it this time around with that one punch, because he had been losing so many times to King in video games that he needed to blow off some steam. And he did. And that was funny. And then Genos asks him, "What am I lacking?" And Saitama just says power. And I love how Genos takes everything so seriously from Saitama. Like, the writing for this show is great. But what did I mean when I said, like, I don't feel like they wanted a season 3 based on the animation, but it seems like they want a season 3 in other ways? Well, in the story, this episode doesn't feel like it should have been the finale. It feels like last episode could have been a perfect finale that would have led into picking up the fight however long later, because we have this wait. But they picked up at the end of a fight of Garo getting taken away, of Centauro being defeated, and then Saitama just going, "Let's go home." Like, the story is begging for a third season, but the animation and the way this studio handled this final season this final episode rather, just doesn't feel like they want another season. And maybe they don't. I mean, based on the way they did the animation, I know time crunch was a thing, so I feel like they maybe don't want a third season. I want a third season. I know many people want a third season. They want something to bring their spirits up at the end of the day for better animation. But I don't know. Like, I love the story. That never disappointed. It felt a bit rushed, especially considering some of the stuff that I saw that they kind of skipped out on. But I don't know. The story needs to be animation needs to be done with as much passion as the story is written, and I feel like that's kind of lacking right now. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. I was kind of underwhelmed by the ending of this season, because I wanted like a kind of big blowout, and the biggest blowout that we ended up getting was what literally looked like a frame-for-frame reanimation of the opening for One Punch Man Season 1. Like, the opening swing that Saitama takes at the end of Season 1 or at the end of the opening for Season 1 when he's punching the blast that we find out later is Boros' blast. I know that he has that kind of serious punch, and it looks like he did use the serious punch, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like it was just a reanimated something we had seen before from the opening of all things from the first season. So I don't know. Maybe I picked up on something that wasn't actually a thing, but I feel like that's what I got out of it. I don't know. At the end of the day, if you want to watch this season, if you haven't been watching this season and you somehow made it to this episode, if you want to watch this season, go watch it. I really don't have much for it. It's a lot of ups and downs and a great story wrapped in a mediocre animation blanket. That analogy didn't work very well. But I didn't mind it. I liked the season for the story. I didn't like the season for the animation, obviously, and I've railed on that enough for these 12 episodes. And it hasn't really improved much. It was sort of here's some highlights, and at least they prioritized some of the good fights for animation, but it feels like it fell off at the end. And I want more, but not for the reason that I normally want more. Normally I want more out of a show because I want to see where it goes next, and I am so hyped that I want to see where the story goes from there. But in this instance, I want more because I want something better, and I didn't get that with this season. And that's just been my feelings on it. Either way, guys, this has been the season finale review of One Punch Man Season 2. Kind of underwhelming, but sometimes you don't always get what you want. I'm really excited for a couple anime coming out this season, including the one Firefighter anime, that the name I can't remember at the moment, and a few others. Picking Up Girls in a Dungeon, that's another fun one. I'm excited for those, so let me know which ones you guys are excited for. I'm going to try to review a handful of them for this season. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Check out some of the links in the description. I've got merch, I've got a P.O. box, I got all that stuff listed down below that you can check out for yourself. And otherwise, make sure to like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure to be there, and have a good one.